Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to the no, we're not at the farm. We're at the Home Depot. So rewind a few years back to when we built our shop. When we poured the floor in there, I had asked the concrete guy, like, hey, can you build me a sump for all the water to drain into, and then it can be pumped out of there. And the day of the build, and I wish you would have given me this advice just a little bit earlier so I could prepare, but unfortunately with the information I had on the day of the build, I probably made a poor decision. Anyways, on the day of the build, he comes to me and he's got the sump, and on the bottom of that sump, it's got a 1.5 inch drain line. And he said, do you want to tie this into your septic system so that you can basically drain the sump out into your septic tank, and then it just pumps out to your septic field? Which by itself is probably not the best advice to do, to push all your, whatever fluids off your shop floor, because there could be used oil and all kinds of stuff, dirt and crap, and sediment that you probably don't want to end up in your septic tank. But regardless, it sure would have been nice to actually have a drain come off at the bottom of that sump. And but we didn't do that because in a panic, I didn't have the stuff to do it. I didn't have a backhoe to trench the line in. And so I just like, no, it's fine. For as often as it's going to fill up, I will just take a 5-gallon bucket and just bail it out and dump it outside. No big deal. Well, in the wintertime, when it's warm in the shop and I go out and I plow snow, or the wife pulls her vehicle in or anything like that, it becomes a big deal because you got to empty that sump a lot, like once a day kind of thing. And sometimes even more. Like if I brought the tractor in and the vehicle in, they're both snow covered at the same time. Whew, that's a lot. Anyways, last year I acquired secondhand a little utility pump that you can attach a garden hose to, and you just lower it in there on a piece of rope or a chain or whatever, and just pump it out, and then you just put a garden hose out the front door and pump the sump out onto the grass kind of thing. No big deal. Worked perfectly. But unfortunately, there was a crack in the housing, and so that crack has gotten worse and worse and worse. And now I think it actually pumps more fluid out through the crack than it does out to the garden hose. So to pump out what's probably 8 5-gallon pails of fluid, it takes a long time. It would be quicker to use the pails, but the pails suck because that's just like, there's just no need. There's an easier way. So that's why I'm outside the Home Depot here. They're gonna open in 1 minute, and I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna get a 1/3 horsepower Black & Decker utility pump. I've been looking online, and they have 1/4 horsepowers, they have 1/6 horsepowers, and then they have this 1/3. And I thought, oh boy, that's gonna have some jam. And believe it or not, the 1/3 horsepower pump is actually cheaper than the 1/4 horsepower. It's more expensive than the 1/6, but I think the 1/6 is probably underpowered and won't move very much fluid. So anyways, give it a minute. We'll go in and have a look, see what they got. It's a good thing I checked here, because I looked at this box, which this is the pump I want, but you can see the seal is broken on the box, and I open it up. And so that little adapter there that goes from the 1 inch to the garden hose connection, somebody stole that out there and then probably bought this pump that's got a float on it and put the adapter on there, because that pump is, where's the price? It's cheaper because it's got a float, but it doesn't have the adapter. Somebody's cheating the system.